Okay, well, I'm Charles Moore. I'm the captain of this vessel that we're on today, the oceanographic research vessel Algalita. Alga means kelp in Spanish. Algalita means little kelp plant, and we started out doing kelp transplanting. Kelp is the rainforest of the ocean. The giant kelp Macrocystis pyrifera along the Southern California coast was disappearing, and so we were concerned about that and wanted to do something to restore these giant kelp forests. So originally the vessel was involved in kelp restoration, but since that time we've gotten involved in the issue of marine debris, and we've been some of the first to document the quantities of marine debris in the central North Pacific, an area called the North Pacific Subtropical Gyre, or the Eastern Garbage Patch is a part of that. And in measuring the amount of trash out there, we discovered that there was 6 times, this was in 1999, we did 11 trawls out there and found 6 times as much plastic as plankton by weight in the surface waters, and this area is just about as far from human civilization as you can get anywhere on Earth. So the fact that our civilization's plastic footprint had such a radical effect on the sea life out there was alarming, and it kind of raised the attention of the public and scientists that this was going on. Scientists had investigated plastic in the ocean before we made our comparison with the plankton, but we were the first to do that, to compare the plastic to the available food. And the scientists basically, after having discovered, well, yeah, there's plastic in the ocean, they kind of dropped the subject. But I think we really need to monitor it. We need to know a baseline level as it exists now, and we need to know if we're getting any better or if we're getting worse. The preliminary evidence from our 10-year study in 2009 is that it's more than quadrupled since we were out there. It's certainly more than doubled. So the problem is getting worse fast. Humanity's plastic footprint, I think, is worse than its carbon footprint. It's killing hundreds of thousands of marine mammals, millions of seabirds, and untold numbers of fish every year. And I think that toll on the natural world is greater than right now the toll on the natural world from our carbon footprint. The awareness that we brought to the issue has created a movement to clean up these garbage patches out in the Central Pacific. But my feeling is that while that's a laudable goal, and while it really would be great if we could remove some of these large ghost nets that are acting like giant bowling balls when they hit the coral reefs in Hawaii and destroying the coral reef and tangling the most endangered tropical seal, the only tropical seal and the most endangered mammal in the United States, the Hawaiian monk seal. These nets, it would be great if we could get them out. But in our experience, they're very hard to find. It's just a luck. It's a serendipity when you find one. You can't really predict where to go to get one. Some NOAA scientists have done a study and found a certain area, but that area is thousands of square miles in extent. So just surveying it is a problem, let alone then going out there and picking it up. So while the ocean is very heavily impacted there, and it would be able to get hundreds of tons out of the area, I'm sure, during the period of time when you're harvesting this hundreds of tons of debris from the ocean, thousands of tons would have entered from land-based sources. So the real key to the problem is stopping the land-based sources of the marine debris, not attempting to have constant and forever cleanup. I mean, isn't a beach to be enjoyed, not to be cleaned up? I mean, we should be able to go to the beach and throw out a blanket and lie there and not turn over and see a plastic cup and a cigarette butt. The fact that we have to rake our beaches with mechanized tools every day in order to have sand that's clean enough for tourists to enjoy it, this is a sad commentary on our use of resources. We're leaving the age of extraction and entering the age of reuse, and yet we haven't created an infrastructure to reuse our natural materials. Our raw materials are being wasted into the ocean and into the environment at a rate at which it's impacting every species, every trophic level in the ocean is consuming plastic or getting tangled up in it, and the toll is tremendous. So I really feel like although structural controls are important, like say catch basin inserts, so that the gutter on the street is trapping the debris, and then booms in the rivers and vessels in the harbors cleaning up debris are important ways in which we can try to prevent the stuff from getting out into the deep ocean, since it's non-degradable, it's going to last there for hundreds of years. Nevertheless, the real solution is not in cleanup, it lies in reuse of materials 100%. A place for everything and everything in its place, zero waste. Zero waste is the key, and that really is the only movement that makes any sense in dealing with the situation we've got ourselves into today, is the zero waste movement, where everything is considered a resource. Even the toxics are not just put into products, but are leased by the companies that make them. If there's some special use for something toxic, then that company should lease it and get it back, not put it in the environment. So these are concepts that are being elaborated by people in the cradle-to-cradle movement, the zero waste movement, the Rise Above Plastics campaign, the campaign against the plastic plague. The Waitemata Harbor Cleanup Trust in New Zealand is doing a great job keeping this stuff out of the ocean. But all these efforts will come for naught if we don't internationalize the problem. If China is allowed to pollute and India are allowed to pollute in the same way that the United States and Europe have been polluting, we haven't got a chance.